What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 48. We have Jamal Hill going against Johnny Walker.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another betting breakdown video this week, breaking down UFC Vegas 48 from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you do want a further, more in-depth breakdown on why I'm betting what, why I'm picking which fighter, I did post my full card breakdown and prediction video on Wednesday, and I also did a live stream on Friday going over all of that. So check those out if you have not yet. Before we get started and get into the video, as always, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are not already. That is always much appreciated. And also be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com to find a lot more content throughout the week, early bets, articles, all that good stuff. But I say we get into it. I have a ton of bets this week. It's not a card where I'm going to be betting a lot of sides, but I'm going to be betting a lot of totals, a lot of unders, a lot of fight doesn't go to decisions. I think this is going to be a very violent card, but it's a very low-level card. But I feel like there's going to be a ton of finishes. I feel like it's going to be exciting, and I feel like it's going to deliver. So I say we get right into it. Let's start with the very first fight of the night. And this bout order has been changing up all week, so it might be a little bit off, but this is what I'm going with here. We have Batista going against Perrin. Not much to say here. You know, Perrin, I kind of like the guy's style. He's going to come in here, fight with a good game plan. I like his fight IQ. He's kind of a grinder. He's going to go after takedowns, and it's going to be probably a tough style to implement here on short notice against Batista, who does have a very good takedown defense and a very good get-up game. And on top of that, the striking is just non-comparable. I think on the feet, it's Batista all day. I think Perrin might have success early, maybe land a couple takedowns, but I see why Batista is a big favorite. No really strong lean here for me in terms of a bet, but Batista as a parlay piece is what I'd go with here. No parlays for me this week, but I think Batista should get it done. Batista by KO was interesting, I guess, plus 250. I could see maybe a late KO, but Perrin's very tough, never been knocked out. So I'll go Batista, but no props really stick out on that one. Jonathan Pierce going against Christian Rodriguez. This is where my action's going to kick off. I do have 2 units on the fight. Doesn't go to decision at minus 165. That line is now sitting around minus 195. I see minus 185, and I still think there's a lot of value on that line. This is a Jonathan Pierce fight, and Jonathan Pierce fights, they finish. Only 1 decision loss for Jonathan Pierce, and then only 1 decision win for Jonathan Pierce. This guy's a killer-be-killed fighter, and that's the style that he brings. He brings a very crazy, hectic pace that most guys cannot keep up with, and I doubt that Christian Rodriguez is going to be able to keep up with this pace on short notice, up a weight class. We saw at the weigh-ins how much bigger Jonathan Pierce is than Christian Rodriguez. I think that Pierce is going to break Rodriguez as the fight goes on, mixing takedown after takedown, grind on him, and eventually get him out of there in the 2nd or 3rd round. I will say Christian Rodriguez, this guy's really good. I like him a lot. I think he'll get some wins in the UFC. I think he'll have success. It's just, coming in here, short notice, up a weight class, much smaller, against a guy with the style of Jonathan Pierce is something that I don't like. So I like Jonathan Pierce. I don't really like the money line, minus 275, because he will leave openings. He's very hittable, and Rodriguez can definitely crack, but I do like violence in this spot. The fight doesn't go to decision. The under 2.5, I think someone gets finished here, but I think more than likely it's Jonathan Pierce breaking Christian Rodriguez and eventually getting him out of there. So my first bet is 2 units on the fight doesn't go at minus 165. Next, we have Helinger going against Jesse Strader. More violence here. I do have 1.3 units on the under 2.5 rounds, minus 130. The fight doesn't go to decision is around minus 170. I do like that, and I also like the under 2.5 as well. I think there's going to be a finish in this one. Both guys have never lost by decision. 7 combined finish losses, 5 for submission for Helinger, and then 2 by knockout for Strader. I do like Helinger to win this fight. I saw a lot of people early on, at least, betting the Strader side, and I kind of got it. The line was off, but ultimately I do like Helinger due to the fact that I think he's going to have the better cardio, and I think he has the better durability. I think durability is key in this fight because I think someone's getting finished, and Helinger's never been knocked out. He's only been subbed, but his last submission loss was like 6-7 years ago. It was a long time ago, and I don't see Jesse Strader really having success in terms of the ground game. But, Jesse Strader, he's going to come forward. He's going to mix it up very well to the body, to the head. He's going to throw very hard. He's going to try to take off Helinger's head. But I think Helinger is eventually going to knock out Jesse Strader, who I do believe has some durability issues, getting knocked out and hurt in many fights. And he's only had 6 fights as well. So give me Helinger to win. Yeah, I wouldn't really mess around with the Helinger by KO or not KO or sub. I'd probably just go with the inside the distance for Helinger plus 110. I don't hate that, but ultimately covering both sides with that fight doesn't go, or the under 2.5. I do have 1.3 units on the under 2.5 at minus 130. Gloria to Paula going against Diana Balbita. It's a Saturday, and they still don't have all the props out for this fight, but that's fine because I wasn't planning on betting it anyway. I do like Balbita. Am I going to bet her? No. Both these fighters have shown horrendous fight IQ. I feel like this fight's going to be very close, very greasy. It probably does go to decision. I like the output of Balbita, and I think if Balbita can get on top, DePaula has a problem with in terms of trying to get up, trying to work her way back up to her feet when she does get taken down. So yeah, Balbita can get takedowns. I think that's a path to victory. She has 2 takedowns thus far in the UFC. DePaula has 0. And then on the feet, I think DePaula is probably the better striker, but I really like the output of Balbita. So I'll take Balbita to do more, but there's no way I'm betting on this fight. Chaz Skelly going against Mark Streagle. Another fight that I wasn't going to bet on because there's a ton of red flags. Chaz Skelly, he's now 36 years old. He's coming off of a 2.5-year layoff. This is his retirement fight, but there was a prop that really stuck out, and that was Chaz Skelly inside the distance. So I have a half a unit on that at plus 150, and the reason being is Streagle has been finished in all 3 of his losses, 2 by submission, 1 by knockout, and I think he's going to leave a lot of openings here for Chaz Skelly to submit him. This fight's primarily going to play out on the mat. Both guys are grapplers, and I think that's only going to be playing into Skelly's game. Again, there's so many red flags here with Chaz Skelly, the layoff, retirement fight, but if we get anywhere close to the best version of Skelly, I think he makes easy work of Streagle here, honestly. I just don't like what I see from Streagle in terms of his grappling game. I think the much better grappler is Skelly, and with this fight playing out on the mat, I think Skelly's going to have many opportunities. So Skelly, inside the distance, plus 150. That is now plus 125. I'd probably go with that rather than the sub, which is only plus 150, because I could potentially see like a TKO as well. So I'd go with the inside the distance for Skelly. I was tempted on the fight doesn't go, minus 155, the under 2.5 as well. It's just I don't see Streagle finishing Chaz Skelly. So give me Chaz Skelly inside the distance, half a unit, plus 150. But a very sketchy fight, to be honest. Jessica Rose Clark, Stephanie Ager. I don't have a bet on this fight. I was tempted on the Rose Clark side. I decided to pass as of now unless money does come in on Ager, but I just like her, in a lot of areas of this fight. I think she's on the feet. It's going to be Jessica Rose Clark all day. I don't like the striking of Ager. And then I also think that Jessica Rose Clark can take the fight down to the mat, kind of like how she's been doing in the last couple fights. I don't like what I see in terms of, Ager off her back. I think Rose Clark can kind of implement the Tracy Cortez ground game, where Tracy Cortez is able to take down Ager, and Ager really didn't have an answer. So I think that's a path to victory, or just keep it on the feet, outpoint Ager. I think it'd be a pretty easy victory there. So I like Jessica Rose Clark. Did not bet it. If it gets down to minus 150 for some reason, I'll pull the trigger, but I think I'm going to stay away. Jessica Rose Clark by decision plus 125 was kind of the prop that stuck out. David Onama, Gabriel Benitez. I like this fight to finish as well. I don't love the minus 190 fight doesn't go to decision, though. Both these guys are absolute finishers. Benitez has been finished in 5 of his 9 losses, 3 coming by knockout. A prop that did stick out, though, to get a little better price tag on some violence here was the fight ending in KO on FanDuel, minus 115. So I put a half a unit on that, and if money keeps coming in on the overs and the fight goes, maybe I'll add a violence bet later, today, but as of now, I just have a half a unit on the fight ends by KO. I think Onama comes in here and knocks out Benitez, but, Benitez hits very hard, very good leg kicks, very good body kicks, and Onama is very hittable. A Benitez KO would not shock me, but I'll pick Onama to win. I'm definitely not betting him at chalk, but I do like violence in this fight. Once again, half a unit, fight ends in KO, minus 115. Speaking of violence, Joaquin Buckley, Abdulrazak, Al-Hassan. I do have a violent spot in here as well. I have the under 2.5 rounds, got it at minus 200, and I have 2 units on that. I think this fight ends probably within the first round and a half. I honestly don't hate the under 1.5, but I do like getting that extra round. And then I also took a quarter unit shot on Abdulrazak Al-Hassan to win by a round 1 knockout. I think this price is pretty ridiculous. Quarter unit plus 500. And I think it's ridiculous based off the fact that this is a fight that really could go either way here, in my opinion. And Al-Hassan, this guy's only won by one method in 1 round. He only wins by first round knockout. 11 wins, all 11 of them coming in the first round and coming by knockout. So you're getting his most likely path to victory, probably the only way he's going to possibly win, at plus 500. I think that's kind of nuts. So I did take a quarter unit on that, but ultimately I do like the under 2.5 rounds, minus 200. I think somebody gets finished here, probably within the first round, round and a half. Nicholas Mota going against Jim Miller. I think this fight is, another violent spot. I have 1.1 units on the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 110. That line has moved a little bit. It's now minus 140. I still really like that. I think Jim Miller is very live for a first round finish, whether it's a knockout. Mota does look pretty chinny. Mota has been finished in his career as well by submission, I believe like once or twice. Yeah, once. And on top of that, Jim Miller, very dangerous with his hands, has a ton of power still. We saw in his last fight getting that in the second round knockout. And then if he gets a fight down to the mat, I think he's very live for a sub. But Mota, this guy hits very hard, a ton of power in his hands. It would not shock me if he knocked out Jim Miller, and that's what I'm ultimately picking. I think he does weather that early storm. I think Miller slows down like he always does, and I think Mota gets him out of there in that second round. But, take the fight, doesn't go, cover both sides, covers the Miller first round as well. Parker Porter, Alain Bedoe. I like violence in this spot as well. I do have 2 bets, so I like the fight doesn't go to decision. It's minus 200 right now. I feel like I should be going heavier on this. Like, this price tag just makes no sense. Is it because that Porter went to decision in his last 2 fights? Maybe that's why, but this line it doesn't make sense to me. This is a heavyweight fight. And on top of that, neither guy in their entire career has ever lost by decision. Alain Bedoe, 2 knockout losses officially. He did have a submission loss that turned into a disqualification win. So, pretty much 3 finished losses for Bedoe and then 5 finished losses for Porter. Both of these guys are finishers. Porter can finish with his hands, can finish on the mat with a submission as well. And Bedoe has no cardio. Bedoe has about a round of gas. So this fight doesn't go to decision. I have 1 unit on it at minus 200. I really feel like I should be heavier on it, but I also do have a unit on Parker Porter to win inside the distance, plus 110, 1 unit. Again, Parker Porter is going to have the cardio advantage. I think if he gets us out of the first round, he's very live to get the fight down to the mat, potentially get a submission, to ground and pound victory. I really don't like Bedoe's ground game at all. And then on the feet, I feel like he can kind of break Bedoe. We saw Bedoe quit in his last fight. I think that could potentially happen again. But yeah, violence here as well. 1 unit, fight doesn't go, minus 200, and then 1 unit on Porter inside the distance, plus 110. Co-main event, Kyle Daukaus, Jamie Pickett. I do have 2 units on Kyle Daukaus at minus 200. The line has, ballooned up to minus 260, and I kind of expected it to get a little bit wider. The Daukaus opened up around like minus 250, and I was like, wow, that's off. I feel like that should be a lot wider. And then all of a sudden, money came in on Pickett, and I just kept waiting it out. And I saw Daukaus at minus 200. I jumped in then, and then since then, there's been a lot of money coming in on Daukaus, and rightfully so. I think it's a good matchup for him. Just Pickett does not, do enough. In his wins, he's barely getting by, it looks like. Daukaus is the dog. He's going to come forward. He's going to be the better striker. He's going to throw more output. I think output's important. And if this fight hits the mat in any type of way, I think that Pickett's in some serious trouble. I like Daukaus here quite a bit. I actually like Daukaus to win by submission, plus 250. I don't hate that. But ultimately, I do have a straight bet. Daukaus, 2 units, minus 200. All right, then the main event. I have the fight won't start round 4. I have 2 units on that, minus 190. And I also have 0.2 units on Hill to win in round 4. And then 0.15 units on Hill to win in round 5. So, honestly, best case scenario is Hill winning in round 4 or round 5, but I kind of just played those to cover myself if this fight does get extended. And if this fight does get extended, I feel like Hill's going to have the advantage. But honestly, I don't really see it getting, past the first couple rounds here. Jamal Hill, he's going to throw a ton of volume. Unlike Thiago Santos, Hill throws nearly 16 significant strike attempts per minute, landing about half of those. Johnny Walker, very hittable, 40% striking defense. I think this fight probably finishes within the first round and a half, 2 rounds. So yeah, I like violence here as well. I like the under 2.5. I like the under 3.5. I like the fight won't start round 4. I like all of those. And like I said, I also did sprinkle Jamal Hill rounds 4 and rounds 5 just in case it does get there. I do like those odds. Like Hill to win in round 5 plus 2,500, 0.15 units on that. Hill to win in round 4 plus 1,600, 0.2 units on that. But honestly, I don't think it gets there. But if this fight goes to decision, that's kind of how it'll hurt me. But I really don't expect that to happen. So yeah, lots of violence. We'll quickly go over it. Not a ton of straight bets, only 1. I've been really picking my spots in terms of the straight bets this year. Have not lost one yet, and I think it's because I'm really playing it safe here, and I feel like I'm playing it safe as well here with a Daukaus bet, minus 202 units. I have 1.1 units on Miller Mota. Fight doesn't go, minus 110. I have 1.3 units on Schrader and Helinger, minus under 2.5, minus 130. 1.3 units there. Walker Hill, fight won't start round 4. 2 units, minus 190. 0.2 units on Hill to win in round 4, plus 1,600. 0.15 units for Hill to win in round 5, plus 2,500. Buckley, Al-Hassan, under 2.5 rounds, minus 202 units. Al-Hassan to win by round 1 knockout, 0.25 units, plus 500. Rodriguez, Pierce, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 165, 2 units on that. Porter to win inside the distance, plus 110, 1 unit. Porter, Bedoe, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 200, 1 unit. And then Benitez, Onama, fight ends in KO, half a unit, minus 115. Skelly to win inside the distance, half a unit, plus 150. And that's about it. Lots of violence. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of finishes. I think I'm predicting like 9 finishes in these fights. A lot of low-level fights. A lot of fights didn't go either way. So I'm looking for violence, and I'm looking for a lot of it. So that's about it. Hopefully keep the winning streak alive. I'm on a 6-fight winning streak. I thought it was going to come to an end last week, but shout out to Jared Cannonier for coming back in that second round and getting that finish over Derek Brunson. But yeah, feeling pretty good about this card, about as good as you could feel on a card like this. But just give me violence, and hopefully there's a lot of finishes. So that's about it, guys. Check out dfsbythenumbers.com if you want more content. Going to start looking into UFC Vegas 49. I'm going to start getting bets out for that, so check that out. And leave a like, subscribe as always, and we'll talk to you very soon. Best of luck for UFC Vegas 48.